Tonight, 3 small vans go head-to-head in a hot hatch test. Eve sniffs out the best way to transport flowers, and Brian will be showing us his used van top tip. But first...
If you were watching our first episode at the Daf factory in Layland, you will have noticed that the vehicles coming off the line were missing one vital component. Can you guess what? Well, the answer's body, and I don't mean the driver. In tonight's programme, we're going to focus on the unsung heroes of the commercial vehicle industry, the bodybuilders. And I don't mean those with bigger triceps than biceps. What we're going to have a look at is the various types of bodies you can get on the back of a truck and a van. And tonight we're going to start off with tankers.
The main vehicles we're building at the moment are 6-wheeler vehicles running at 26 tonnes. We tend to be 16,500 litres and then up to sort of 21,000 litres for the sort of your reload tanks and things like that.
When we're making our tanker is make a tube out of a piece of steel, just like they're doing behind me now.
We aim to produce somewhere in the region of 100 milk tankers per year, but we do other various tankers as well. We do fire brigade, water tenders in the region of about 12 a year, and we do fuel bowsers, small fuel bowsers, which again about 10 a year. So somewhere in the region of 125 plus tankers per year.
After they've finished making the steel tube, they've then got to top and tail it with these end caps. When we've made the tanker, what we've got to do now is encapsulate it so that the liquid inside stays at the right temperature. Where are we? My God, we're actually inside a tanker. Now you might be surprised that we've actually got walls across here. These walls are called baffles, and they're to help the driver when he brakes, that the load transfer of the liquid doesn't create a big problem.
From start to finish, it obviously depends what we're doing, but if you're building a rigid vehicle, it's probably somewhere in about 9 weeks from start to finish. It takes us about 5 weeks from actually receiving a free issue chassis, depending on what we're building it on.
That's all well and good if you've got 16 litres of milk, but what happens if you've got a load of fish fingers to carry? Join us after when I'll be showing you how you and your fish fingers can keep cool.
Our van of the week this week, Citroen Dispatch 1.9 diesel. Popular with the fruit and veg man and the flower people. Let's go and have a look why. Now, front of the cab, it's a proper commercial vehicle this. Let's have a look properly inside. Look, what have we got? Up above us here, we've got a proper little luggage rack for putting all our documentation, paperwork, maps, everything up there that you can get to while you're driving. Also, we have a dual seat, very uncommon in a van this size. Gear levers out the way, it's not a floor stick. Nice, everything's nice about it, well appointed for a commercial vehicle. Right, so let's have a look under the bonnet and see what we've got. It's a 1.9 diesel engine, it's very compact, as you can see. Not a lot of space to work on it. Now this is an engine that all you want to do is check the engine oil, water, general levels. It's a Peugeot Boxer engine, it's set so far back, you're talking main dealer maintenance. Now that's going to cost money, so think about it. Make sure when you buy this vehicle you check for any rust under these panels here and under here. You will get corrosion, check, can cause problems. Also make sure when you purchase the vehicle you get with it a full service history. So what have we got? 1.9 diesel engine, nice Citroen Dispatch. It's one of the better vehicles with the dual passenger seating, but one thing to be careful of, you've got the height of that vehicle, that's a lot higher than most vehicles. Remember, it won't always go into a car park. A 3-4-year-old vehicle of that, you'd be looking at somewhere around about the £5,000 to £5,500 bracket. Now, if you're buying from a main dealer, make sure you get a service history, most important with that vehicle.
I don't know about those fish fingers, I'm absolutely freezing in here. Well, let's go and have a look, see how they make these fridge bodies. The first item in the process is to put the box together. The walls are made out of foam and GRP with some aluminium strengthening as well. So once we've built the basic body, what we've got to do now is trim it inside and outside. And for instance, in the interior here, we've got a load lock system. This helps retain the load when the vehicle's in transit. Now, before we put the body onto the chassis, we've actually got to build a subframe. And these vary in size depending on the chassis type and also the make and model. Next in the process is to actually pre-assemble the doors, and these are made before flush fit to the boxes themselves. And one of the key areas that you've got to look out for is making sure that they're very, very airtight, and that's where they use this triple side layer of rubber to ensure there's no air and therefore the temperature can remain as constant as possible. So here we come to the essential part of building a fridge, putting the fridge unit in itself. For instance, this one's a carrier. There's also models like Hubbard and Thermo King. And the other essential part to look at is whether it's going to be a chiller for things like cheeses and yogurts, or it's going to be a freezer, for instance, for frozen meats. Now, keeping cool is one thing, even in our dubious climate. But join me at the end of the show when we're looking at how we can transport our cereals to go along with some of this milk. Now, I'm sure if I was to ask you to describe your stereotypical van driver, odds are we'd include things like grumpy, tubby, beer-swilling geezer with more cleavage than Jordan, but all in the wrong places. I'm also sure the reply would include a large white van. But nowadays people are beginning to realise that big is not necessarily better, even when it comes to vans. In fact, the days of the Supermini being for the sole use of students and wives has long gone. Tradesmen are beginning to realise the benefits of the humble hatchback. Tonight we have Renault's latest Clio 1.5 CDI weighing in at £8,200, Peugeot's 1.9 diesel 206 £8,000 and Fiat's Punto 1.9 diesel, which is the cheapest at £7,500. Now, if you're ever under the impression that these are proper vans, once you get behind the wheel, you'll find that this isn't the case. Okay, here we're on the Punto. It's 1.9 diesel. One thing you do notice compared to the other two vehicles is it's a lot brighter, there's a greater visibility. I don't know if it's the fact that there's a more glass area, and certainly the driver's position is a lot more sit up and beg, which is a good thing, I think, and certainly in a commercial vehicle, as against driving it as a passenger car. Unlike the other two vans on the test, the Punto is available with two engines, a 1.2 petrol and a 1.9 diesel. Both produce a maximum 60 brake horsepower with a diesel peak torque of 87 pounds-foot at 2,250 RPM. The average MPG is pretty good too, with an average of around 43 miles per gallon. Steering wise, the Punto brings over the girly button, if you like, that we hear about in the advertisements. So again, for whether it's motorway driving or it's town driving, the steering is excellent and probably the best of the lot as far as I'm concerned. Prices for the Punto start at just over £7,000. There are two engines on offer, a 1.2 petrol and a 1.9 diesel, both with 60 brake horsepower. Maximum payload is 510 kilograms. Now, one of the questions that's hanging over these hatchback van wannabes is the practicality. They're basically a small family hatch without the seats, and therefore the carrying capacity is slightly limited. For a start, the best maximum load volume of any of our vans carries 1.1 cubic metres and a maximum payload of 535 kilograms. And what you've also got to remember is because these vehicles are built on a hatchback, they have a very inconvenient load lip. So why does anybody buy a super mini van? And how does the Punto compare against the Renault and the Peugeot? Join me after the break and I'll give you all the answers.
Coming up, Eve uses her green figures to test the darling bud of the flower trade and which of our hot hatch critters is the best small van.
Before the break, we were looking at the three of the latest Superminis and asking why somebody would buy them. Well, the answer is quite simple, because they're small and compact, which makes them easy to manoeuvre and park. Okay, so here we are inside the Clio. First thing you notice, 1.5, 65 brake horsepower, you get a good turn of speed. And in fact, when you look round as driver, you wouldn't know you're in a van. From the front, it just looks like, and certainly drives like, you're in a car. Now the Clio is the most expensive van here, and is only available with one engine, a 1.5 diesel. But unlike the other two vans on test, it's a common rail diesel engine. With 65 brake horsepower, the Clio outpowers the Punto, but is not quite up to the Peugeot 71 brake horsepower. But with a claimed MPG of 65, the Clio easily outsees its competitors. One nice thing is central locking again on a button, which is great for a van because obviously you've got maybe some precious cargo in the back. You don't want to be getting in and out making sure it's locked or not, and therefore it's a great idea just to be able to just press one button and locks the whole of the car. Renault's Clio is available with a 1.5 common rail diesel engine with 65 brake horsepower on tap. Load volume is quite disappointing with only 1 cubic metre on offer, although the maximum gross payload is quite good at 535 kilograms. Now the 206 is arguably one of the best looking hatchbacks available on the market, and the van version looks just as good. The only problem is that looks aren't the most important factor when choosing a van. As soon as you get in the Peugeot 206, the one thing it certainly has is style. It is a very stylish vehicle, and that's whether it's the car or it's the van. But when we get into vans, style doesn't give you everything. And in fact, the people at Peugeot seem to have missed out a few things for the van man that would make life comfortable. For example, we only have a driver's airbag, there's no passenger airbag. Secondly, we have manual wind down windows. Now in this day and age, surely it must cost them not much similar to get electric ones, just like we have in the Punto and we have in the Clio. The 206 is powered with the same engine that appears in the Partner. The 1.9 diesel engine is the most powerful of all the cars and pumps out 71 brake horsepower with 106 pounds of torque available at 2,500 RPM. The small hatchback van is becoming more popular. One of the main reasons is it's got all the driving style of a car and yet you've got all the tax benefits of a small commercial vehicle. The 206 is middle of the road for cabin noise and for instrumentation. Certainly it isn't as noisy as we've got with the Punto, but probably isn't quite as good as a Renault Clio. On the instrumentation side, we have 3 instruments here. We have the speedometer, we have the fuel tank indicator, and we also have the temperature gauge, which is one more than the Punto, but not as good as the Clio. The 206 is only available with one engine, a 1.9 diesel, although it does pump out 71 brake horsepower. Maximum gross payload is 525 kilograms, with a towing limit of 1,100 kilograms. Before I started, I was a little bit dubious as to what these vehicles were all about. But when you look at them, they're here actually not to carry furniture or windows, they're here to make the little jobs easier. We're talking about things like security guards' job, pizza delivery people, and florists of the world. And for that, they're the best alternative available, unless of course you're the white van man.
Hi, I'm Threlkeld. Now, not all van and truck drivers are big burly blokes that haul their deliveries all over the country. Some vans are used for more delicate jobs. Well, I'm here in Runcorn with Barbara, and she drives a Mercedes van to deliver her flowers. They're very, very sweet. Now, if I'm looking knackered, it's probably because I am. It's very early in the morning and we've got a lot of deliveries to do. Let's go and find Barbara. She's in here. Come on. Oh, Barbara, it's very early. I've got my coffee to try and keep me awake. How can I be of assistance today to you?
Well, we've got to get some arrangements out to one of the receptions in the offices first of all.
Okay.
So these need a bit of touching up first.
Right.
And then get them on the van and I'll go and show you what we do.
How many deliveries have you got today then?
First thing this morning, there's about 8 to go out early, but this one's got to go out first because they're waiting.
Tell us a bit about your van, because I would imagine that's a very important aspect of the job, is the van, isn't it?
We've got our Vito, which is our favourite, and then we've also got a little Escort as well.
And which do you use the most?
Oh, the Vito. Ever since we bought it, it's always been first choice. It's just so nice to drive.
We need to get a move on. We need to get these flowers sorted out.
Can't stand here drinking.
You take me in the back and
Come
I'll
on
take
then.
the chocolates and the coffee.
Right, I'll bring
and
this
then
one with me. We'll go and
I'll
sort
leave that
it.
one. I'll come back for that one after.
Right.
Ooh. Let's all go.
This is the last lot now.
Okay, so just put this anywhere then.
Pop it there so it doesn't
Oh,
wobble.
in there.
Yep.
This is a nice bright coloured van. Did it cost you a fortune to have this?
We did have to pay quite a bit extra to get
Did
this
you?
colour. They do the standard colours and then they do at an extra cost. You can have the
Bright colours.
anything out of the Mercedes range.
Any other modifications that you've made to the van to help you with your job?
Yes, we've had a double seat fitted at the front instead of just the single seat.
And why is that?
That means that when we go out on contract work, for example, if we're doing marquee work or hotel work for weddings, functions, that kind of thing, I can take a driver and then 2 members of staff as well. So we've got extra pair of hands. We don't have to take a second vehicle with us.
And what wheelbase is it, do you know?
It's only a shorter wheelbase. I think all the Vitos are actually this size. We didn't need as much height as we'd had with our previous big van, so it's just a low top. It's got a nice low loading space. It's very easy to get big stuff in and out. I mean, the boxes we brought back from the market this morning, very easy to lift in and out with the low bit, and it's easy to jump in and out to adjust the load as well.
What's it like? Is it petrol or is it diesel?
It's diesel.
It's diesel. What's
Very
it like?
economical. I mean, the thing with our vans is they don't have to be performance vehicles.
Yeah.
Really, we only need them they need to be practical, they're functional, economical, it's got to be stylish. It doesn't have to be something you take round Brands Hatch, because first thing will happen is everything will fall over if you take off too quick.
I could sit and talk to you here all day, but we can't. We've got deliveries
No, we've
to
got
do.
to get these
in that
deliveries
van.
done.
Don't
Come on
lock me
then.
in the back here, will you? Right. Well, thanks a lot, Barbara. And tell the girls thanks as well, won't you?
No problem.
All
Nice
right,
to have you
take
here.
care. Thank you. See ya. Well, I've decided I don't want to be a flower lady. You have to get out of bed too early and I can't cope with that. But it's a groovy van, man. Flower power. Yeah. Threlkeld, over and out. See you next time. I'm going home to bed. Bye.
Earlier in the show we were looking at tankers and fridge bodies, but what happens if your goods are dry freight such as cereal and paper? Well, here we are at Barley, one of the major manufacturers of dry freight bodies and trailers. This is the first part of the production process. Here the metal from the trailers are shot blasted to help prevent rusting. After the shot blasting, the metal is sprayed with paint towards an extraction fan, and then the residual paint is collected by the water wash spray booth. The steel can now be cut to length and pressed ready for initial assembly.
Barley is principally recognised for taut liner, which was in fact the first load-bearing curtain sider.
Here the cross members are welded to strengthen the front and the back and also the roof.
On the trailer side, a fully blown tri-axle curtain-sided trailer, we'd like to think was worth, 18 or 18,500, and used to be.
Here we are on the largest sub-assembly section. This is the roof. The first thing you note about it, it's upside down. Secondly, it's not actually flat, it's got a camber on it. This means it's there to add strength to the roof, which is important, and therefore add strength to the whole trailer. So, here we are at final assembly. This is where it all happens. The trailer comes on with the floor already on it. We get the front and back of the trailer then put across, and we get the roof lowered down. The curtains attached, and that makes the complete trailer. Here we are inside one of 8 spray booths that Barley has. The lads are just masking up at the moment. Now, I don't know about you, there's probably more spraying done and painting done here in 10 minutes than I've ever done in 10 years, which is probably not a bad thing.
We've supplied, I think, virtually all of Stobart's 1,500 trailers, and closely followed by James Earlham, who's, Stobart's little brother in the sense, and prospering and doing very well in their own right, with their own ideas. But then there's European names among our customers like P&O, Ferrymasters, really a pan-European operation.
There's more to a truck than just the chassis. In fact, the body on the back is just as important as the name on the front. And to be a good bodybuilder, you must be as versatile as a Swiss Army knife.
Next week, Eve dabbles in some time-travelling vintage vans, and 3 large panel van contenders grapple for the heavyweight title in our triple test tag match.